Hello, everyone out there in Rumble, X, and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego, and today we're going to talk some more about the final episode of this abortion of a show, And Just Like Crap. That is the real name of the show. I think we all know it's true, and in this case, it's literal as well. I think the showrunners, the producers of the show finally caught on. They finally just, raised their hands in the air and just said, okay, you were right. Let's put it in the script. That's what I think happened, okay? This entire show was a big mess, okay? Which is sad because I was really excited to see it. I think we all were. Those of us that were fans of Sex and the City. I'm probably the only straight guy you've ever known that actually watched every single episode of Sex and the City. And I watched it back in the day. This isn't a new thing. Okay, I didn't just start watching Sex and the City 4 years ago. Right, I watched that crap when it first came out. Okay? And I watched it when I was young, all right? Because all the women I knew, especially all the women that I wanted to have sex with, they were all watching that show. And they were all talking about it. And none of my guy friends gave two craps about it, about that show. They were watching Sopranos like I was. So I had HBO. So I said, okay, I think I'll watch some episodes to see what the fuss is all about. And I got hooked on it. Okay, not because the show is realistic. The show has never been realistic. Okay, ladies, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but it's the truth. It was never realistic. Okay, but it was entertaining. And at the end of the day, that's all you really want. You just want to be entertained for like an hour or whatever, okay? I liked the characters. I liked Samantha. I liked all the characters, okay? I hated Miranda, but damn it, I mean, if that show needed a bitch, okay, they got one. Okay, they got one. They fulfilled that requirement. All right, they got more than one, honestly. Okay, so the show was entertaining. It wasn't realistic at all. I caught that on very early. Okay, once I realized, oh my God, this isn't real. Okay, they're not even trying to act like this is a real dating situations. Okay, this is all crap. This is all made up. All right, these are not men. Once I figured that out pretty early on, I was like, okay, now I know what they're doing with this. Now I know where they're trying to go with this. Okay, they're just they're more concerned with explaining the big complications about dating for women in their 30s, and not so much the believability. Okay, it was all about the drama that the women put themselves through, mostly Carrie. Okay, they go through in dating, the complexities of dating. But that was the focus. It wasn't so much the men that the women were dating. Okay, they were not very realistic. Okay, they weren't. They were not. Okay, but women love the show anyway. Okay, they didn't think about what was going on with the men, just what was going on with the women. Okay, and even if you look at it from that point, Sex and the City fails the bullshit test because the women never got cheated on. Okay, they never got broken up with. Okay, none of them ever had to deal with none of them got pregnant except for Miranda. Okay, none of them really had to deal with the stuff that realistically women that sleep around have to deal with. Okay, none of them had to deal with a judgmental boyfriend. None of the guys asked the women how many men have you been with. Just saying it out loud is like, oh my God. Okay, the stuff that a real man would ask, a real man would, if he was considering her as a girlfriend or as a wife in the future or something like that, there's certain criteria that a man is going to put the woman through. Okay, if the man has self-respect and if he's high value, okay, then he's not just going to marry any pretty face that jumps his bone. He's not, okay? But on Sex and the City, okay, they only dated high-value men. And so none of the men acted like high-value men. They all acted like low-value men. The constant pestering, the insecurity, the being afraid they're going to lose her, so they have to, overcompensate, to make sure that she doesn't break up with them, thereby causing her to break up with them, This is the stuff that low-value men do. Okay, but low-value men aren't owners, or like media moguls. Okay, they're not corporate attorneys. Okay, they're not like orchestra conductors for major motion pictures. Okay, they're not respected surgeons. Okay, they're not. They're not Wall Street tycoons. You see what I mean? This is what I'm telling you, okay? Is that like the men that were on Sex and the City were low active. They were high value men because these women would never date a guy that worked like at Starbucks or something. They would never date a guy that worked at Walmart or something like that. Okay, but the men were all high value on the show, but yet no, they acted low value. Okay, you see what I mean? Okay, and that's just not realistic. Okay, if you're gonna date a guy who's like, was born wealthy, he's good looking, he's tall, okay, he's charming, he's smart, okay, he knows how to fuck, he knows how to get you off, okay, you're gonna have to compete with other women for him, okay? He's not gonna act like some needy, insecure boyfriend, okay, that you're gonna get sick of and dump. Okay, no, you're gonna have to compete with other women that are better looking than you, okay? You're gonna have to compete with them to get that guy. And the women never had to do that on Sex and the City. They never had to compete with like a 22-year-old, None of them ever did. The high value men automatically liked them, automatically fell in love with them, and then they were the ones that had to dump them once it turned out that they weren't as high value as they thought. Okay, or there was something wrong with that guy. Okay, so they have to get dumped before 5 minutes before the episode's over. They have to do that. Okay, because the most important thing on Sex and the City wasn't the sex; it was the girls, the camaraderie between the four women. They did everything together. Okay, even that relationship was bullshit. Okay, because all three of the girls thought that they were Carrie's best friend. You never saw Samantha hanging out with Charlotte. You never saw Miranda hanging out with Charlotte. You never saw Miranda hanging out with Samantha. You never, ever saw that. You always saw Carrie hanging out with one of them or all three of them. Okay? You never, like Samantha would never go shopping and gossiping with like Miranda. That would never happen. Okay? They always did it with Carrie. Okay? The women circled around Carrie. Right? I can't believe that none of you picked up on that. All right, so many of you women didn't realize that. I was talking to this girl that I'm dating, and I mentioned that to her. She never noticed that. She was a big fan of Sex and the City. Okay, like she's watched more episodes. She's watched the episodes over and over. I only watched them twice, but she watched the episodes over and over again. Okay, and she was like an encyclopedia, but she didn't realize that until I pointed it out to her. You never see them together. You never see them hanging out with each other. They're always hanging out with Carrie. What does Carrie do? She's always whining about her love life. She's always complaining about something. Whenever the other women have a problem, they always bring it to her, and she immediately changes the subject to be about her problems. And don't forget, she was a chain smoker back then. She was always smoking cigarettes. And only one guy ever complained about it, Aiden. He's the only one that ever said, "Oh, God, you taste like an ashtray." Okay? Well, realistically, that's a thing. A lot of guys don't want to date women that smoke. Because I used to smoke. I'm just as bad. Okay, I used to smoke back then too, so I know. Okay, but even I got it. I remember girls would give me dirty looks and stuff, and sometimes they would like come up to me like, Diego, you would be so cute if you didn't smoke. Like that. They would tell me stuff like that. And I'd feel bad about smoking my cigarette. I was young. I was a kid back then. 20, 22, 21, like right. So there was definitely like There was a stigma attached to that, okay? And Carrie never had experienced any of it. Only in one episode where her girlfriends called her out on her smoking did she ever oh my God, people don't like me smoking? Would men find that unattractive? You know what I mean? Okay, and that wasn't realistic either. Okay, and a lot of the show wasn't realistic, but it was entertaining. That's the good thing about Sex and the City. It was entertaining. Unfortunately, the legacy of Sex and the City got destroyed by this show. Okay, the characters don't even act the way they did. Okay, we're gonna end Carrie off by herself. Okay, she's gonna die an old maid with cats, in a big beautiful house by herself. Okay, who's gonna get her money? Okay, when she's dead, nobody's gonna get it. She's got no kids. She's got no next of kin. Okay, I'm sure in her will she'll leave it to Charlotte, Miranda, and Seema and all that kind of crap. Okay, but what are they gonna do with it? Okay, first of all, Charlotte's already rich. She doesn't need the money. Okay, what about Miranda? Miranda's already rich. She don't need the money. Okay, what about Seema? Seema's already rich. Okay, and she's got no kids either. She don't need the money. Okay, what is Seema gonna do with her money? Because Adam doesn't really need that much. Okay, he's set. Okay, he only pays $900 a month for a beautiful penthouse apartment in downtown Manhattan. Okay, so he's set, man. The fucker doesn't even buy like commercial goods. Everything he does is all natural and organic. Okay, so what the hell? You know, like there's no legacy here. Carrie has no legacy. Okay, she didn't even mentor Lisette, and Lisette's supposed to be like a younger version of her. Okay, she's supposed to be a mirror of what Carrie used to be. Okay, and one of the great things about legacy is you can pass it on. Okay, you hold on to something that's very important for a while, and then when it's time, you have to let go of it and give it to someone else. It's their turn. Okay, that's one of the most beautiful things in life. That's why we have children. We literally, us parents, okay, we create our replacements. Okay, we pass along a bit of ourselves to our children. Okay, so they can remember us. So they can, you know, if we're lucky, we'll live long enough to meet our grandkids and stuff, you know, and our family will tell stories about us. Okay, long after we're gone. You know, I mean, even me personally, you know, someday when my son's old enough to have his own family, I'm hoping one day he'll tell his grandkids about me. You know, and tell them, oh yeah, your grandpa loved this stuff. He loved Sex in the City. No, maybe not that, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, you know, and that's a good thing. You know, it's good to leave what we have, the things that we accumulated in life, the things that were important to us. Okay, the things that mattered to us while we were alive. You know, we want to know that when we're gone, all that stuff is going to go to the people that we loved the most, because ultimately the material things don't matter. What matters is the people in our lives. Okay, our family members, our children, our spouses. Okay, those are the reasons that we keep going. Those are the reasons that we work to death. Those are the reasons that, you know, we continue getting up every morning. Those are the reasons why we continue at life when life gets hard. Okay, we do it for the people that we love, not for our possessions, not for our shoes or our houses or our clothes or the parties. Okay, we do it for the people that we love. Who does Carrie have? She has nobody. She has nobody. Who does Seema have? She got Adam. How long is that going to last? You see what I mean? Eventually, she's going to find something wrong with Adam. Okay, and she's going to get rid of him too. Okay, like all the women on the show do. Okay, the only one who doesn't want to get rid of anybody would be Miranda. Okay, and that's because when Miranda became a lesbian on the show, when she was a straight, she used to criticize all men. She hated men. She was very resentful of the fact that her pussy wanted to get filled. Okay, she was very resentful of that. Like she felt she treated sex like something that she had to do. Her body, it was like a function that her body had to do. Okay, but if it were up to her, she wouldn't go through with it. You see what I mean? It's like her pussy was wet and hungry and craving, but she wasn't. Okay, so she had to appease her pussy to keep going. Okay, otherwise it was going to become a problem. You see, that's the way she treated sex. Okay, that's the way she treated her relationship with Steve. All right, like something she was obligated to do. Same thing with being a mother. She was obligated to do it because she felt really bad about killing her kid. Okay, when realistically, women like Miranda, they kill their kids. Okay, that's what they do. Okay, they're all about that. All right, and before you start judging me, I'm all about it too, okay? All right, I am pro-choice, okay? So don't fucking start throwing shit at me, okay? No, I'm pro-choice, okay? I'm not criticizing Miranda's decision. I'm just pointing out that was her decision, was to get rid of Brady. And then at the last moment, she changed her mind and decided to have the kid as a single mom. Okay, not knowing that her and Steve would eventually get married, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff would happen, all right? But when she was straight, she was very critical of men, did not like men. She hated men. She still does now, but here's the weird thing about Miranda. Miranda was always the bossy one, always telling men what to do, okay? Being a bitch, being rude, okay? Saying inappropriate things to men, okay? Testing them and all that. But now that she became a lesbian, now she's all passive. She's all passive and endearing and very codependent. Okay, with Shay, I mean, yeah, with that piece of shit, fucking lesbo thing, non-binary Ralph Cramden lookalike, okay, with a vagina, okay, with that Fred Flintstone looking thing, okay, she was all in love with Shay. She would do anything that Shay said, okay? If Shay took a shit, Miranda would be there to eat it. Okay, that's how much she cared about Shay. That's the way Miranda is now, okay, and she's that way with Joy now. Nothing can happen to Joy. She cares more about Joy than she cares about her own fucking son. Her own fucked up son. Okay? She cares more about Joy, I would say, than she does even about Carrie. Or in Charlotte. Okay? The women that have been with her for the longest time. Okay? She cares more about Shay than she did about them. Okay? And that's pretty sad. Okay, because Miranda went from one extreme to the other. So she can only be passive and submissive when she's a lesbian. But when she was straight, she's the dominant one. Okay? The one who criticizes and emasculates. You see what I mean? And this is a load of shit. Okay? How are we supposed to find Miranda likable? She's not likable at all. She's just uglier now than she was back then. I would have done her back in the first season of Sex and the City. But I look at her now, dude, and I lose my heart on. Like that, dude. It's gone. Okay? I'll probably never get a hard on again after some of the shit I've watched on the show. Most of it having to do with Miranda. Okay? And then you got Charlotte. Okay? Charlotte still, her husband Harry's still pussy whipped. Okay? Still doing everything that she says. Has no self-esteem. Always emasculating himself. Always self-depreciating himself. Okay? Always whining. Always reminding you that he's Jewish. Oh, you know what I mean? And it's just like, come on, dude. Okay, all the women in his house, his 2 daughters and his wife, they just run over him. They make fun of him. Okay, they push him around. They give him orders. They tell him what to do, and he just supplicates. He just automatically tries to, it's hard to appease. And when he can't appease his wife, when he can't appease his children, he starts beating himself up for not being good enough to appease them. You see what I mean? And that's no kind of fucking life. You're the motherfucker that pays for everything there. Okay, they should be trying to appease you. Okay, at least some of the time. You see what I mean? But they don't. They don't even respect their own father. Okay? And what kind of fucking life is that? He has no say in his own fucking household. What, you think Charlotte and her $30,000 a year job working at the art gallery selling bad artwork to gay people, you think that's paying all the bills? You think that's paying for Rock and Lily's private schools or their colleges? No, it's not. Or that expensive apartment they live in? No, I know Charlotte got it in the divorce, okay? But he's still paying the property taxes on it, okay? And that ain't fucking cheap. And he pays for her fucking wardrobe too. And everyone else in that house. Okay? All the meals, all the vacations, all the parties, he's fucking paying for it, okay? And he never once complains about that. But Charlotte always has a way to complain to him how her needs are not getting met. Okay? Like, what the fuck is this shit, man? What kind of life is that? Is that a marriage you want to be in? Okay? And look at Lisa. Lisa and her pussy husband, Herb, okay? Another limp dick, bald-headed, chubby soy boy. Okay? Insecure motherfucker. Closeted homosexual. Okay? That guy's the same thing as Harry. Okay? Only he's a little bit more self-conscious about his looks. He's afraid he's going to gain weight. Dude, you already fucking gained weight, okay? You're a chubby piece of shit. Okay? You know, he's also complaining about his diet and how the cheese in the refrigerator is going to make him fat. Why is there cheese in the refrigerator? Don't you realize that if you put cheese in that refrigerator, I'm going to want to eat it, and then I'm going to gain some more weight, and I can't have that. Am I cool? No, seriously, sweetheart. I know I'm bothering you right now at work, but am I cool? Am I? Sweetheart, what do you think? Huh? Do you think I need to lose some weight? Because I think I need to lose some weight. Like that, like the fucking pussy bitch that he is. Okay? And of course, Lisa fucking bosses him around, tells him, talks shit to him, makes fun of him, yells at him, blames him for fucking everything. You know, it's just like, what the fuck is this? Is this a marriage? That's the kind of fucking marriage I ever want to fucking be in. That's fucking for sure. You know? I don't want to be in a fucking marriage where all the kids and my wife are constantly yelling at me and telling me what to do all the goddamn time and telling me that I'm not good enough. Bitch, I'm the one that fucking feeds everyone in this fucking house. Okay? Like, what the fuck? Anyway, you're never going to see that on the show. Okay, I'm sorry, but Lisa's fucking job as a PBS documentarian, okay, a shitty one at that. What fucking documentarian takes 9 fucking years to finish their documentary and they're still not done with it? What documentarian does that? Okay? This is a load of shit. And what was her topic? It's fucking pioneering black lesbians in history. Like, who the fuck wants to watch that? She's not even a good wife. She wants to fuck Mr. fucking Stud Muffin over there. Mr. fucking NBA, 7'2", hung to his shoe, okay, who wears more fucking jewelry than she does. She's all fantasizing about fucking him when she's not fantasizing about fucking underage boys. So what the fuck? What is there to like about her? Okay, she dresses like a goddamn kaleidoscope, for Christ's sake. Okay? She looks like a fucking reject from a fucking Cosby episode in the 1990s. You know? I mean, what the fuck? You know what she looks like? She looks like she just fucking fell into a fucking bottomless pit of fucking a different world fucking DVDs and it exploded all over her. That's what she fucking looks like. All right. Moving right along. Let's get back to this episode here, okay? I'm Diego. I give you a straight man's point of view. Okay, the real question you need to ask yourself is, can you handle it? Can you handle the truth? I know goddamn well you cannot. You cannot handle the truth. Okay, you can't handle this. Hell no. Hell no. Because I'm going to tell you the truth straight up, baby, with no lube. There ain't no lube. You don't even look for it. Ain't got any. There's none. You're going to get it hard and fast the way you like it. Anyway, let's talk about this episode, okay? But seriously, folks, okay, I'm not here to hurt your feelings or anything like that, okay? And if I do, I apologize ahead of time. Okay, I'm just telling you what guys think. That's what it says. It says it right on the video. There's a straight man's point of view, okay? Enough of these gay guys talking about this show. Enough of the other women, the 50, 60-year-old women talking about this show. What does a guy think about this show? What does a straight guy think about this show, okay? What does a single straight guy, okay? Because I'm out there dating. I'm not married, but I'm out there dating, okay? Okay, I'm out there. Okay, I'm in the trenches, all right? And I'm telling you right now, I know what guys look for. I know what turns them on, all right? And this ain't it. This ain't it, okay? Because this show's written by gay guys and lesbians, okay? That's why. That's why you're not going to get an accurate representation of heterosexual relationships on this show. Because they don't know what that is. They give you an approximation. All right. Moving right along, where we left off last time, okay? Yes. What do you call it? Miranda went to the vet to go visit Joy because her dog's having surgery because he ate a Lego, and Joy's all upset. Not because the dog is in surgery, but because they made her sign a liability waiver in case they fuck up and the dog dies. So that's what's really bothering her. Anyway, Miranda abandoned her own Thanksgiving dinner to be with Joy, who's British, by the way, does not celebrate Thanksgiving. Okay, anyway, so that's going on here. Okay, Mark tries to flirt with Carrie at the Thanksgiving Day party. Now, Mark is played by 76-year-old Victor Garber, who's actually a very good actor. I've seen him in a lot of things. I watched this superhero show called Legends of Tomorrow. I watched the first 3 seasons of it. After that, it went woke and gay, so I quit watching it. But he was on there, and he played a superhero, one half of a superhero named Firestorm. And I liked him on that, okay? He's very believable playing a straight guy. I admit it, man. Like, the guy is very good. You might remember him. He played the guy that designed the Titanic in the 1997 Titanic movie. He was in that. He was in, what was that show with Jennifer Garner? What do you call it? Alias or something like that? I never watched that show, but I know he was in it. Okay, he's been around. I saw this made-for-TV movie about Judy Garland. Okay, I think it's called Me and My Shadow, and he played Sidney Luft in that movie. He was Judy Garland's second husband, or maybe third husband. Maybe it was her third husband, whatever. Yeah, Sidney Luft's third husband, okay, Sidney Luft. He played Sidney Luft in that movie, okay? And the shit that Judy Garland put the real life Sidney Luft through was, oh my God. But anyway, yeah, I remember him from that too. He was very good in that as well. Okay, so he's a great actor. He really is good. Yes, he's openly gay. I'm not like outing him here. He's gone on record, okay? A lot of you don't realize that, but he was also in Godspell, which is a musical, a show from like 1971 or 1972 or something like that. It might have been 73, I don't know. But in that, he played Jesus in that one. It's like Jesus Christ Superstar. It's like a hippie version, you know, but with drugs and sex and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and he was in that too. He has this huge like afro, like white afro, you know, with eyeliner on. It's suspenders, you know, the Mork and Mindy suspenders, you know, with the Superman t-shirt on, and it's just like, and they're singing Day by Day. Watch that. It's weird as hell. Like, you got to be stoned to watch it, and I don't do drugs, okay? But if you do, get stoned and then watch it, right? Because it's weird. It is weird. But yeah, that's Victor Garber there. Right, so he's always been, you know, like that, okay? You know, he's just open about it now. Anyway, he plays Mark Kasabian, who is a straight guy in the show. He's the owner of the gallery that Charlotte works at, but he really serves no purpose on the show. I mean, he's a great actor, like I said. He showed up last season for 1 episode. That's when we first met him, and he's been in 3 episodes now for this season, this final season. But they've done nothing with his character. His character serves no purpose at all. He's just there. He's just a pathetic guy who owns a gallery. He's been married and divorced 3 times. Okay, so he goes through women. He's an old man now. He complains about alimony and child support and things like that he has to pay for. So clearly this guy is not anyone that the show wants you to think is attractive. I mean, he's an older guy. He's single. He's kind of pathetic. Even though he's got money, he's kind of pathetic. What does money matter to these women? All of them are rich. None of them have money problems. Okay, and so he's just like an incel. They just look at him like a pathetic old man. I'm not gonna get with that. You see what I mean? Which is sad because none of the women want to turn that mirror on themselves and see what pathetic old women they are. None of them want to do that, and the show's not going to go there. Okay, it's all about female empowerment. Okay, which means bullshitting ladies so you can feel better about yourself. All right, they have no problem depicting men as incels, as pieces of shit, And Mark is not a piece of shit. He's just considered pathetic. Okay, that's what he's looked upon. Even though he owns an art gallery, he's got fucking Picassos and Andy Warhols in his gallery. Okay, the guy is not a loser. All right, but he's depicted as a loser because he has hard trouble getting laid. He has absolutely nobody to spend Thanksgiving with. That's pretty fucking sad, considering he has kids. Okay, no brothers, no sisters, nothing. That's pretty sad. He has no grandkids, nobody that wants to see Grandpa for Thanksgiving. That's pretty sad. That's pretty sad. All right, so that's why he has to go to this fucking party, okay, at a lesbian's house, so he can hopefully hook up with one of his employees' best friends, and that's just sad. All right. Anyway. So he tries to flirt with Carrie at the Thanksgiving party. He mentions he has a big house in the Hamptons. Big fucking deal. Everybody on the show has a house in the Hamptons. Okay. Like I said, he's 76 years old and Carrie is 60 years old. Carrie tells them to pull out the turkey because it looks like it's ready, even though both of them don't know a goddamn thing about cooking. Okay, Charlotte arrives with the turkey stuffing that she prepared herself, which is kosher. She prepared Jewish turkey stuffing for the non-Jewish family that's celebrating Thanksgiving, and she just showed up to drop it off. She's immediately going to leave and go back to her place because there's no way in fucking hell that she's going to spend Thanksgiving at Miranda's place. She's spending it with her husband and her kids back at her place. All right. Well, Carrie takes this opportunity to pull Charlotte in private and yell at her for trying to fix her up with Mark. And she's like, oh, but you guys hit it off. You had such good chemistry when y'all met. And he's like, I was just being polite. He goes, oh, yeah, but you know what? He's got a plane. He's got a plane. Like, that's what you need, okay, for a good relationship. You have to have a plane. All right? Well, I'm sure there's a lot of women that gets their pussy wet, okay? But this is Carrie, okay? Okay, Carrie's fucking smoked more meat than Hickory Farms. What the fuck does she care about a fucking guy who owns his own plane? Okay? To her, that's nothing. Okay, men are nothing to her. Okay, they're never gonna be good enough for her. Okay, she might get attracted to them and she'll get wet from and stuff, but once she actually gets to know them, which is about 2 minutes after they have sex, she's gonna find something she don't like about the guy, and boom, next. Okay, that can work when you're young and pretty, but she ain't young and pretty no more. She's not kind of. She is pathetic. She's pathetic and it's sad. I can understand that she's a widow. Okay, but she didn't have any kids with Big. All right, so she has nobody. Okay, all she got from Big's death was his money, which she spent on a fucking house so she could live in with another guy that she broke up with now. Okay? So what the fuck? What the fuck is the point of her character? What are they trying to do with her life? For Christ's sake, what is she trying to do with her life? Okay? The thought of dating a pathetic woman like her, dating another pathetic old fart, okay, is just so repulsive to her. You see, this is ridiculous. Anyway, I'm gonna say she should hook up with Mark, but god damn it, maybe it's time to fucking get your head out of the clouds, okay, and start thinking about what's left of your fucking future. How do you want to spend it? Do you want to spend it fucking guys and then criticizing them and dumping them, okay, or do you want to maybe pay attention to the things that the men do right and kind of focus on that, okay? Because you're no fucking spring chicken and you are far from fucking perfect, Carrie, okay? Can you imagine if the men treated the women on the show the way the women treat the men on the show? Can you imagine that? The ridicule, I swear to God, this show wouldn't even last 6 episodes before all the women on the show would reach for the fucking sleeping pills. Okay? So no. Okay? It's not them, Carrie, it's you. It's you, and it's always been you. All right, moving right along. So he tries to flirt with Carrie, blah, blah, blah. They pull the turkey out of the oven. Okay, they don't know a goddamn thing about cooking. She tells Carrie that Harry got Charlotte shows up, yells at Charlotte. Charlotte tells Carrie that that Harry got a hard-on finally. So that's the end of that storyline. He didn't have a hard-on because he had prostate cancer. Well, they removed the cancer. He still couldn't get a hard-on, and now he can. That's it. That's the whole story arc for Harry this entire season. And arguably, I'd say the entire series. Because there's nothing that he does that's important at all throughout any of the 3 seasons of the show. He's just fucking there to be emasculated, to be told what to do, and to be made fun of. Okay, he pisses himself in a nightclub. Okay, he wears a wig in one season that looks ridiculous. Okay, just stupid shit like that. Okay, they just got to keep emasculating him, and he's impotent throughout the entire season until this episode. All right, so they just got to find a way to emasculate him, make him look like an idiot. Okay, like they do with all the men. Okay, look what they did to Aiden. Okay, they put him in a fucking suit that was way the fuck too small for him, that his ass ripped while he was at the fucking theater. Okay, they put they made a Steve, a lovable character, into a fucking cuck. They turned him into a fucking cuck that Miranda fucked over completely. All right, and he cried about it, and he refused to take his never coming off his wedding ring. He refused to accept that his wife of 20-something years dumped his ass. I mean, this is. Look what they did to him. Okay, this is what they do to the men on the show. This is what they do to them. Okay, they don't do this to the women. They do this to the men. All right. Okay, so what else is going on here? Okay, and do I even need to get started about Herbert? Look what they did to him. Okay, look at what he is. Not what they did. Look what he is. Okay. In private, Carrie berates Charlotte for setting her up with Mark. Charlotte says she felt sorry for Carrie. That's why she did it. Carrie's like, but he's been married 3 times. And Charlotte's like, yes, but he has a plane. Charlotte with her overacting, okay? She thinks she's in a fucking cartoon or an episode of Friends or some shit like that, all right? No, anyway. Silvio is a gay guy who's there. Okay, we got some Zoomers in the house. Okay, you've got Mia, who's pregnant and ugly. Okay, she's the daughter of Ben Stiller. That's the only reason she got this job. Okay, and she's disgusting as well. And then you got Silvio, who's this flamboyantly fucking gay guy who hates straight people. He likes to make fun of straight people. Okay, and he dances around like, ah. Okay, think of like a younger Ezra Miller. Okay, like that. Okay, and then you got another fucking fag named, because we all know that straight girls only have gay friends. You know that, right? Okay, so the other trans thing, I don't know if it's a trans thing or just a really ugly Jewish girl. I have no idea. But whoever this thing is, its name is Epcot. And Epcot tells everybody that they're lactose intolerant, and then they immediately start eating the cheese hors d'oeuvres, all right? Okay, that's going on here, okay? And while the gay guy Silvio is dancing around, okay, Mia's screaming, go girl, yes girl. Okay, it's not a fucking girl, it's a gay guy, all right? What the fuck? All right, anyway, Miranda arrives finally, okay, from being with Joy at the vet, okay, and she talks puppy bullshit with Mia for some reason. Mia tells her about the puppy that she once had that ran away, okay, because someone left the door open. Like, what the fuck? All right, anyway, Epcot, the lactose intolerant trans thing, or just ugly fucking Jewish girl, who fucking knows, all right, wants to know where the bathroom is because she needs to fucking blow a chunk, all right, and so she runs for the bathroom. Okay, this is important. This will come back later, all right, literally. Okay, Miranda tries to tell the dancing Silvio to turn the fucking music down. Okay, Brady announces that the turkey is raw. Okay, that they're not going to be able to eat it. It's going to take another 2 hours to cook it fully, and they've already been there for like longer than that, and they're all hungry. So he's like, all we have to eat is brown rice, seaweed, and cucumbers. Because he went to Chinatown, because it's Thanksgiving, all the stores are closed. He went to Chinatown to get brown rice, cucumbers, and seaweed for Mia, because Mia refuses to eat anything else. All right? So he had to leave his own fucking party that he was cooking for as well to do that. All right? And they don't have 2 hours to put the turkey back in the oven. Okay, so Brady announces that the turkey's raw, blah, blah, blah. Brady berates Mia for eating cheese. He sees Mia eating the cheese. He's like, is that cheese you're eating there? She's like, yeah. He's like, what the hell are you eating cheese for? After I went through all of Chinatown to get you your goddamn cucumbers, brown rice, and seaweed, and now you're over here eating cheese? And she's like, yeah, well, I didn't tell you to go do that. Okay, so that's on you. Okay, that's Mia right there. All right, Miranda tries to calm them down because now Brady's really upset. Okay, and Brady calls Miranda crazy. Like, no, she's fucking crazy, okay? And Mia tells him, hey, don't talk to your mother that way. I would never, ever disrespect my mother like that. And then Brady says, your mother? Oh, you mean the one that blocked you on Facebook? And she's like, I told you that in confidence. Like that kind of thing, right? And then Epcot lays a huge shit bomb in the shitter, okay, in the bathroom. Then she comes out of the bathroom going like, hey, has anybody got a match? Because that cheese was no joke. Okay, so now the shitter's fucking about to get exploded here, right? Anyway, so the next scene here is after dinner. Okay, they ate food off screen. Okay, so now it's cleanup time. After dinner, Carrie tells Miranda that she's afraid Mark, who is in the bathroom right now, okay, is going to ask to take her home. Okay, and now she's going to have to accept it because she feels so guilty about the bullshit Thanksgiving dinner that they put him through. Okay, the horrible party that he had to sit through. Okay, Brady, it turns out we find out that Brady's going to spend the night at his dad's place instead of his mom's because he's fucking pissed off. All right, so apparently that relationship is mended because Brady did move in with Miranda because he didn't like the way his father was yelling at him for fucking getting a chick pregnant. All right, yeah. But Steve said earlier in this episode he was going to call Brady and apologize, so I guess that happened. Okay, off screen, and Brady's going to go stay with his dad now. All right, I'm sure he's going to come back to live with Miranda, but for tonight he's staying with his dad. All right, so Mark's in the bathroom. He's taking a piss. Okay, not a shit, a piss. He flushed the toilet and then he goes to the sink, okay? And then guess what happens? The toilet starts getting backed up. I'm not making this up, all right? This really happened. This really happened. Okay, we've seen a lot of things on this show. We've seen women having their periods in public. We've seen women pissing themselves, not making it to the toilet. And men, we've seen men piss themselves as well. Okay, we've seen couples throwing up while they're on a first date, like literally like regurgitate, like vomiting together while they're on a date. Okay, we've seen things like this on this show. Okay, so why would we not see this as well? Okay, I think the showrunners, the writers, just put their hands up in the air. So okay, everyone says the show is shit. Nobody even calls it by its real name. So let's give them what they want. Let's finally give them what they want. Okay, and that's what they did. Okay, no, we didn't want the show to be called In Just Like Crap. Okay, you made it into that. Okay, you made it into that. Okay, so what happens? Okay, we get In Just Like Crap. Literally, we get shit. We get human feces. The toilet backs up. Okay, and there's shit everywhere. It's going all over the floor. And Mark is there. Poor Mark, Victor Garber, he's going to be known for this. This is his legacy. He's just staring, looking at it like, no. I swear to God, dude, that was Bill Bixby. I think he would turn into the Incredible Hulk right now. Okay, the way he's like, no. He's like doing like a Dennis Hopper. Like Dennis Hopper in Speed. You remember Speed with Keanu Reeves? I remember the overacting that Dennis Hopper did. And he's like, like that. That's what Mark Kasabian is doing right now. That's what Victor Garber's doing right here. He's like, just like that. And I'm like, I've not seen acting that good since that motherfucker with the cleaver threatened Miranda completely fucking naked except for his tube socks. Remember he was like, hey, you catch you in the face, like that. Remember that? That's one of the best episodes ever made of television history. Okay, that was the last time I saw this much commitment to the role. Okay, and that's what we see here. Okay, and that's why he's on the thumbnail. Okay, not just because he's the best actor on the show, but because he basically summed up exactly what the show was in one facial expression. He captured it. He captured that moment, that lightning in a bottle. He caught it. He caught it with his face. All right, and that's why you need to see it. Okay, so if you want to know why he's on my thumbnail, that's why. Okay. he just captured the moment of this show right there. Everything you need to know about the show is right there on his face. The whole fucking series, the whole script is right there, okay? He mirrored our experience watching the show. Victor Garber, good job. Good job. All right. Yes, this scene is a metaphor for the entire series. I think they did that on purpose. I think they like I said, I think they put their hands up in the air. They said, hey, listen, we're not winning with this. We're not going to win with this. All right. So let's just fucking let's just give them what they want. Let's just fucking give them some turd soup. And that's what they did. All right. So yes, the shitter blows up. There's shit and piss everywhere. Okay. Mark lets Miranda and Carrie know that it was not his fault. Okay. It was that trans thing, Epcot, that did it, not him. Okay, and now he's too embarrassed to ask Carrie home, so he excuses himself for the evening. Okay, but he does remind everybody it wasn't him, it was Epcot. I don't have a problem with cheese. I'm not lactose intolerant, okay? You know, that kind of thing. Okay, so Carrie is happy that he doesn't offer to take her home, so she's smiling about that. Meanwhile, Miranda is in her own shitter now, cleaning human shit and human urine off of the floor, off of the toilet, off of everything. Okay, that's her job. And I got to tell you, congratulations, Miranda. It's about time you took some responsibility for the way you've been acting on this show and on Sex and the City, for that matter. Yeah, and of course, Carrie comes up there in her pixie dress, her what the fuck color was it again? I forgot. Her fuchsia colored outfit. Okay, with her fuchsia colored beret. You know. And she stands in front of Miranda while Miranda's wearing, you know, the gloves, okay, the rubber gloves that that Carrie wears for fun, for fashion. Miranda's actually using them for what they're intended to be, to clean the shitter. And she's on her knees, okay, and she's wearing an apron and all that kind of stuff. She's cleaning the shitter, cleaning the piss and shit off the floor. And Carrie goes up there and it does not offer to help. Yeah, good friends, right? And I should tell you something about Carrie, okay? Who's the first person Carrie called when Big died, okay? It wasn't 911, that's for sure. It was Miranda. It was Miranda. Big might have lived if she'd called 911, but she didn't. She just smothered him, and then she called Miranda, all right? So yeah, Miranda's good enough to call when your husband dies, but not good enough to help clean the shitter. You know, so yeah. So that's going on here. And, of course, She tells Miranda, hey, you know, shit happens. Get it? Miranda says, like, look at me. What happened to my life? It's not even my shit. It's Epcot's shit. And Brady's shit. And Joy's family's shit. And Joy doesn't like families. And I might have a baby coming into my life. None of this is any of my fault. I had nothing to do with any of it at all. Well, obviously, reality has not set in. Okay, she acts like she has no culpability in any of the events that are happening in her own life. Okay, which is typical for this show. Okay, she might be cleaning the shit, but internally, she's not blaming herself for anything because, you know, none of the women on the show ever do anything wrong. Okay? According to their own logic and according to the way they're written on the show, everything's someone else's fault. You see what I mean? Okay? No, women don't ever take responsibility for their own actions. Okay? Everything is because of someone else. You see what I mean? Including this, okay? Brady knocking up a girl accidentally. That's not Miranda's fault. The fact that she's a piece of shit parent, okay, who let Brady fuck girls in her own fucking house since he was 14 years old, that has nothing to do with it. You see what I mean? You know, she accepts no responsibility for being a piece of shit parent, okay? You know, as far as Joy, okay, you chose to date that dog because you're a dog as well, okay? Joy has family issues that don't fucking date her. Date an ugly fucking bitch like you that doesn't have family issues. You chose Joy. So what the fuck? All right? I mean, this is all her fault. Some of it not completely, obviously, okay? But she needs to take responsibility and she's not going to. For her own actions, all right? Anyway, so that's going on here. She does tell Carrie that Mia does like her, so that's something. Okay, because Mia's about to have Miranda's grandkid. So that's something. You know, she's like, I won the battle, but I lost the war. You know, well, no one gives a shit. Literally, nobody gives a shit that Miranda is cleaning shit. All right. Well, guess what happens? Okay, it's a happy ending for Miranda because Joy arrives. Yes, not literally. Joy arrives. She shows up there. Okay. Where are her dogs? We don't know, and we don't give a shit. Okay, and Joy doesn't give a shit. All right. She abandoned her dog at the fucking vet. Okay, and we don't know where the other one is. We don't know what happened to Socrates, okay? But Sappho is still in the vet recovering, okay? So anyway, she approaches Miranda while Miranda's on her hands and knees with her fucking gloved hands and her apron on, covered in fucking human feces and human urine, okay? And she looks at Joy up there. She's like, what are you doing here? Oh my God, why do you gotta see me like this? You know, as if the night couldn't get any worse. And Joy says like, well, you spent Thanksgiving with my family, so I thought I should spend it with yours. Yes, okay. And Joy's like, we are just pathetic, aren't we? And then guess what happens? The best part of the show. Miranda and Joy hug each other. Joy gets on her knees and hugs Miranda. And Miranda hugs her back with her shit and piss-stained gloves, wearing her shit and piss-stained apron, kneeling on their shit and piss-stained bathroom floor. Best episode of the series right here. Best episode. Yes, they went there. They went there. They most certainly did. I'm glad they did. I'm glad they took the metaphorical and turned it literal. Okay? Yes. Yes. They're both covered in human fucking feces. Okay? And urine. And they hug each other in love. Okay, nobody washed their hands. Nobody changed their clothes. It reminds me of a movie I saw. It's an older movie. It's called Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo. I don't know if any of you are old enough to have seen that movie. If you haven't, it's the funniest movie ever made. I'm not being sarcastic. It really is. At least for me, it is. It's one of the funniest movies ever made. And Deuce Bigelow, Rob Schneider's character, his dad is a bathroom attendant. Okay, and at one point he has to go and unclog a toilet. Okay, it's his birthday, but he's working. He's a bathroom attendant. So manager tells him, "Hey, listen, the shitter's backed up. I need you to go in there and take care of that." So he goes in there. He's like, "Son, I got work to do." And he rolls up his sleeves and he's in there, you know, he's fucking trying to unclog the shitter, right? And all of a sudden, his son's girlfriend goes in the bathroom and she's like, "It's your birthday. So Deuce and I decided to bring you some babinka cake for your birthday because he told me it's your favorite." He's like, he looks at her like, and he stands up. He's like, "You did that for me?" She's like, "Yes." She's like, he's like, oh. I was like, oh God. He's like, oh. That's good, babinka. I was just like, oh, God. Anyway, yeah, so that's what happens here, okay? And Carrie, of course, she can't stick around for this, so she just leaves. She just gets the fuck out of there. All right, I've gone on way too long here, okay? But I will be back to finish reviewing this piece of shit. I thank you very much for watching this long, and I will see you soon on the next one. Bye.